What's going on, guys? It's Kwasi and we're back with another tutorial. So today we're actually going to make another brutalism poster, and this time I'm going more for a cyberpunk theme. So today you're going to learn how to make this poster on the screen, and I don't think this intro needs to be way too long, so let's just hop right into the video. Alright, so here I am in Photoshop. So I already have two images that I want to use for this, so it's going to be like a cyberpunk poster. What I'm doing with this kind of route is that I'm kind of just making these things as I go, so I have no planning, honestly. So I'm going to show you guys my thought process and how I do things. So like I said, I got these images from Google. If you watch my previous videos, you can see how I get them in the correct size. But the biggest thing is, the bigger the size images you use, the better your quality of your poster will be. Obviously this one's a little more blurry, but what I'm going to do is I want to make them black and white. That way I can kind of mess with the colors. So let's get started. So we'll start with this one. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to my effects tab, and we're going to look for black and white. Just make the whole thing black and white. I kind of want to leave it like that. Next, we're going to go to thresholds, which will give it like a kind of inverted, more darkened look. I kind of like how this looks, and I'm just going to lower the opacity. The reason I'm doing this is I want it to be black and white so that I can put colors over it. And I think for this one, I'm gonna just go with purple. So we'll go like a purple, dark purple kind of vibe. So cool, we got that. I'm gonna real quick see if there's any purple in this picture I can borrow. So I'm just gonna hit my tool to select colors. I like this kind of shade. I think like a darker purple right here will be good. All right, cool. All right, next we're gonna make another image. We're going to now take the paint bucket tool, overlay that, fill it in, and we're gonna play with the settings and see which one kind of gives us what we're looking for. So I'm gonna go for lighten. That's kind of what I'm going for. Put on the opacity a little bit. I'm gonna take another purple, but make this one a little more brighter, almost like pink, just to give it some highlights. Kind of overlay that. Then let's go for, I'm gonna put on lighten as well, but I think I might turn the opacity about right here. Next, I'm gonna go to exposure. I'm gonna put up the gamma correction just to make it a little darker, and the offset just a little bit to give it like a chalky feeling, kind of like that. Now we're gonna add some shadows. So we're gonna open a new layer, go to our brush tool, and just give it a nice little, my Photoshop's a little slow, so bear with me. Brush like this. Something like this. We're gonna put the opacity down just a little bit so we have what we need. And then we're gonna go up here. Now all I did here was I switched my colors. So now I'm on my my white, make another layer, and then make a light source from the top. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. It's kind of what I like. I'm gonna make a new layer, apply the image. Now if you see my other tutorials, the reason I do this is just to make the image look a little more sharp. So whenever I do any filter on my images, I always apply it, because that usually symbolizes I'm almost done. So this, if you're gonna do this, this should be your final step. But we're gonna sharpen. We're gonna go to smart sharpen, and then I usually go for around a 50%. I think it worked for this one, so we'll do that. And boom, I kind of like what this looks like. And what I'm gonna do is kind of take exactly what I did here and do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to do that real quick, and we'll jump back to when I'm done. Okay, I'm back. This one came out pretty good, honestly. I like how it looks. They're both pretty similar in color. This one has more shadow, so that's why it looks a little bit different. But now we got our images. Now let's get started and make our poster. So now we're gonna go to new file, hit new. So something that's important, if you're planning to print this out or you're planning to make poster prints, my recommendation is for your resolution, go at least 300. I'm gonna change this to inches. I usually make 11 by 17 posters, and what I'll probably do with this is I'll probably actually like get this printed and hung on my wall. I just moved into Well, I've been in my apartment for a while, but I'm just now making my office. Currently I have no artwork on my wall, so I think what might be fun is after I'm finished with this design, I'll actually print it out and put it on my wall. So we'll see how much time I have. But okay, cool. Now we're gonna hit create. Me personally, I like to make my background like a gray. I feel like gray is like a good color where I can see everything I need to see. So I have an idea of what I want. I have my ruler attached. I think you hit Control R and you'll get these lines that you can put into your canvas. I'm gonna place my middle line right here. I like to have borders on my poster designs, so I don't like my artwork being at the edge of the canvas. So I make like a box so that I can kind of know where to keep everything in. So everything inside the blue is where I want to design it. I don't want to go outside it. It makes it look more professional. It's just something I like to do. So when it comes to grids, so this is what we're doing. We're just gridding our canvas so we have ideas of what we want it to look like. But when it comes to grids, you don't really have to do anything spectacular. I kind of go for a brutalism style, which kind of uses different shapes and boxes to kind of tell a message. But whatever style you want is cool. If you watch my previous video, I kind of go more in detail about brutalism. But if you have any grid ideas, you can use it the way you want to use it. It doesn't really matter here. So what I'm actually thinking of is I want text to run here, like big Japanese text. And I'll probably have like the images I had right here. Because of that, I'm going to actually move this over here to give myself more space. Now you're kind of seeing what I want. See how the text will sit here? I have an image here. I probably put text in between here and another image here, and this kind of like design it up. So right now, this is my thought process on how I kind of like do things. So now I have an idea of what I want the canvas to look like. I'm actually gonna get started. So let me add some more lines for reference for myself. Thinking about how large I want the images. I think this works. All right, cool. So I create a new image. I'm gonna now create my first shape. I'm going to fill this with white. You guys will see what I'm doing in a second. And just select. All right, gonna copy, Control C, Control V, paste it. The image isn't that big, but because I kind of picked the biggest size I could find on Google, even if I stretch it out, I shouldn't lose too much quality. This is kind of what you want to avoid a lot, is like expanding images and making it so like it gets blurry as it gets bigger. But because the image was already like big, it kind of still works. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like this. I honestly prefer to use the other one, to be honest with you guys. So let me just do that real quick. Here, I pasted it here, create my clipping mask, and I'm gonna make this bigger. And I kind of like it like this, kind of like sit here. Nice. Let's see if I can position it around. Cool. Next, I'm going to, let me see how I want to do this. I'll put some text right here in this box, but then right here, I can use the other image, which was this one. So grab this, Control C, gonna create a new layer. Paint bucket tool. We're gonna hit paste. Right click the image, create clipping mask. And if you're wondering what a clipping mask does, if you make a shape, it contains images within the shape you make. So it's a pretty cool tip. You could do a lot with clipping masks, honestly, but I typically use them for this, just so I'm not like cutting and erasing just to make things fit in the box. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. Next, I'm gonna start adding text to the image, and I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna hit this with Cyberpunk. Text I'm using is Delegothic 1, if you're wondering. So this is might be a bit too small or too big. Let's see. I'm gonna reduce it to like 60. All right, cool. So I'm starting to understand what I want. Now what I'm probably gonna do is just go into Google and go to English or Japanese and type in Cyberpunk, and whatever kanji I get, I'll probably put it in here. Then I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and I'm gonna look for quotes from the show. That way I can incorporate into the poster in the Japanese kanji. I think the kanji gives it a good look, but enough talking. Let's kind of go ahead and do that. So I typed in Cyberpunk and this is what I got. Not even gonna try to pronounce that. So I'm gonna take this kanji and I'm gonna go back to Photoshop. I'm going to create a text layer. I'm going to paste it. Hit OK. And this is what we get. So here's our text. What I want to do now is I want to turn it to be exactly 90 degrees. So we'll go to the degree up here and make this 90. There we go. Now that it's turned 90 degrees, I can put it here. Now I need it to be bolder, so I can actually increase the size. All right, so far so good. I might make a couple changes. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add Japanese text underneath the Cyberpunk here. I'm gonna make this like 24, and I'm gonna hit Control V. So if you're wondering where I got this from, all I did was I just used Google Translate. I found a quick summary of the anime, and I just translated from Google to Japanese, and yeah, just copy and paste it. Like I said, the way you can do this, you have to have a text that allows you to have Japanese text, and that's why I use Delegothic 1. It's probably my favorite, but anyways, gonna make this smaller. Actually, no, this is a bad idea. I'm gonna make the text smaller, not the actual image. So let's actually go for like 15 maybe. Let's see what that looks like. This is pretty good. Starting to like it so far. This can move down just a little bit like this. I'm starting to like it so far. What I've now noticed is like this top, it's just too big, honestly. I kind of want to make it smaller like this. I could let it match the letter here, and now I can add more to the top. All right, kind of decided what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna type in edge runner. I like this, like that. Yeah, this is like coming together fine. Okay, so what I'm thinking now, I want to add text here, maybe like a kanji symbol here. All right, so now I'm gonna just go get some Japanese text to put it here. I might just look for like another summary of the show, or just maybe something about Lucy, or yeah, maybe one of the characters. I'll probably put her description up here, but yeah, we're gonna go do that, and I'll come right back when I'm done. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I made the kanji 3 here instead of 1, and basically I like how this came out, to be honest with you. So let's get rid of all our guidelines, kind of see what we got. This honestly looks pretty damn good. So what I'm gonna do now is actually the fun part. All right, cool. I took away my guidelines. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but I'm definitely gonna have to split up in 2 parts if it's too long. But regardless, the next part is just us putting in effects. Just kind of how I always run through my process. But I really like what I got going on. I'm gonna continue doing this purple theme, so let's just jump right into it. So here I got my go-to images. I have kind of like a point wavy thread image, circular pattern, and like some abstract kind of grungy metal. You can use whatever you want. These are the ones I personally use. So we're going to incorporate all of these into our image. So the first thing I'm going to do is, remember, I like the purple idea. So I want to edit these images so they fit the image or the color I want. So I'm gonna go to hue and saturation. We're gonna hit the hue and make it purple, similar to what our image already look like. I kind of like this. I'm gonna hit it with a vibrance, if I can. Vibrance right here, and put up the vibrance. Cool. Then I'm gonna copy it, Control C, and we're gonna go back to our, where is our image? Here it is. I'm gonna go back here. We're gonna go to our layers, and obviously I should organize my layers. We'll do that soon. We'll do that soon. It's an important lesson, especially if you want to come back to your PSD or you want other people to use it. We're gonna go to our background. We're gonna hit paste, and you can see it in the background right there. I'm gonna actually turn it 90 degrees. Same thing I did earlier. Go to the degree up here after you move it. Hit 90 to turn for you. And now that it's at 90 degrees, it actually almost fits the entire canvas. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, just like that. And now that it's there, I'm gonna turn the opacity down just a little bit. Let me see if effects help it. I think putting it on screen helps. And I'm gonna put it up just a little bit. Cool. So there's that. And that's also why I make my background like gray, because I knew I'm gonna go for a dark vibe. It kind of helps things blend into. So say it was a brighter kind of piece, I use more whites, more bright colors, I would have made my background like cream or white, just to kind of complement it. So think about the background you put on, but if you want to do some effects in the back, just think about that. So next we're gonna go to this. Obviously I don't want the blue, so we're gonna do the same thing, hue and saturation. Let's make it like purple, like that. That works. I think it's good just the way it is. There's a lot of black, so it's not need to mess with like the vibrance. We're gonna go here, Control V. It's in the background. I'm moving pretty fast because this is kind of how my brain processes. But all this is really you're just trying to give the background life. You know what I mean? You just don't want a plain gray background. I'm gonna put this one to lighten. I'm going to definitely put the opacity down, but I just still want to get that effect of like space. So that's kind of what I'm going for, like space, like stars, points. To me, this reminds me of stars because they're all white, but flipping back and forth. Gonna paste that. That is the dot effect. The beauty about this, even though it's kind of like small, because they're so intricate shapes that take a lot of pixels, you don't really lose too much quality when you make it bigger. So boom, I got that. I'm gonna set this to lighten, put the opacity down to about like 11. Then I'm going to Control J. I'm gonna kind of fill it to the top of the canvas like that. I'm actually gonna merge the layers so they're one thing. It's gonna look a bit bad for a second. Oh, actually came out fine. And there we go. All right, so far so good. I'm going to now take this image again, but I'm gonna go to the top of my canvas because I wanted to overlay on some of the images. So I'm gonna hit Control V. There it is right there. I'm gonna hit lighten. Going to expand it so it kind of gets on the bottom. Me personally, I like this effect. It kind of shows kind of control, or like the textures kind of coming in and out. Then I will take my eraser tool and erase everything that's in the way of the canvas, because sometimes it just, for some odd reason, my Photoshop, I can't like hold and erase things. I kind of have to like keep clicking. I don't know why that's like that, but if you know how to fix it, just let me know in the comments. Cool. So now I pretty much like what I got, and what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna add more of that purplish red. I'm gonna take my eyedrop tool. So what I do here, to show you guys what I do, you click on the color tab, or just to pick your colors, and anywhere you click on your canvas, it selects that color. So I want to get a purple in her hair like this. I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm going to fill it and This looks really good, the lighting. But look at this. Like, there's so many things you can do at this point. Like this, honestly, I could just leave it like this. If you want to put it on color burn, because honestly what you can do here, you can put it on color burn. You can lower the opacity. And what I'd probably do, add some artificial shadows, but this is great. I like this a lot. But I'm not gonna use that. I'm actually gonna go right here with lighting color. Put the opacity down just a little bit. Now I want a darker but vibrant purple, so kind of like the one I had earlier. Gonna go here. So I made a new layer. I filled the bucket tool. And now this looks cool too, man. I like the dark kind of effect. Wow. This is the beauty of the color. It's just like, this is why I love Photoshop so much. There's so many things you can do. So many effects you can get. I can make different versions of this. Like if I went like this looks so cool. I'm actually gonna go for this. And I'm gonna put the opacity down pretty low. You can tell I'm kind of passionate about this. But next, we're gonna go to exposure. We're gonna, the gamma correction, put up a little bit. And we're gonna put up the offset. I like the offset because it gives it a bright, chalky kind of effect. And I'm kind of liking where I'm going with this. All right, cool. So what I want to do, I want to make the text on the side stand out a little bit more. So what I've done is I made a copy of the text. So let's locate where you made this. I'm going to make a copy of this text. And I'm going to go to stroke. I'm going to set the opacity to 100. I'm going to set the stroke to 9. Then I'm going to go to blending options and then fill opacity I'm set to 0. Cool. So now when I move it, it makes like a cool little border. If I just continue to copy them, I can make multiple. So I'm going to make 3 like this, just to give it more of a kind of cool little effect. Now, I could do it for all the other English words like edge runner and cyberpunk. I probably should switch it too, but I kind of like edge runner, cyberpunk, even though it's supposed to be not the way I want. Anyways, I could do it for these, but I think that's doing too much. I think just having one here is fine. Now, this is kind of what I want to go for. I'm going to add a little bit of more textures, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. So let's do that real quick. All right, so these are called fractals. I've had this image for like almost a decade. I cannot tell you guys where I got this from because I just don't remember. But back in the days when I was like first into Photoshop, they called these fractals. It's like geometric shapes, but I typically use them for lighting sources. So we're gonna go to hue and saturation. Remember, I want that purple vibe. So it was already purple, but I think I can make something better. This looks good. Put the saturation. Cool. I like this. We're gonna copy it. Hit Control C. Get back to our image. Hit Control V, and then paste it. Let's bring it to the top here, and then you're gonna hit it with lighten. And it's hard to see, but there's like little sparkles coming from the canvas. And I'm gonna put the opacity down just so it doesn't overtake it. Then I'm gonna copy it and then just kind of add it to where I so see fit, just to make it more. So this is basically it. I kind of like what I got going on. And like I told you guys, I might actually print this out and probably put in a video of me just, you know, actually hanging it up on my wall. But at this point, you're kind of done. You can add whatever else you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new image or make a new layer. We're going to go to image, apply image. Remember, I taught you guys this in the beginning of the video. I'm doing this because now that I'm finished, I can now go to sharpen, smart sharpen, and I want to sharpen it to like 55%, and that will just give the entire image more of a smooth finish, so when I save it, it's not super blurry. Now obviously at this point, what I would probably do is just go organize my layers, because I typically keep my PSDs because this is a pretty good design. I might reuse it later, but it's always good to organize things, so I can go back into that. But I'm not gonna waste our time and do it on camera. This is just me telling you guys, make sure you organize your layers. But other than that, it was I think this was a pretty quick tutorial. I'm not sure how long it's been going on. Like I said, I might do it in 2 parts, but you know, it's gonna be back. More tutorials coming soon. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, and if you're new, just make sure you subscribe. It's been Kwasi with Studio Kwasi, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.